just want to say, don't let anyone in life tell you who you can or who you cannot be, what you can do and what you can't do. See, in life, there's a lot of people out here who haven't pursued their dreams, aren't pursuing their dreams, and are living vicariously through celebrity, through family, what their parents want for them, what their friends want for them, or they're living through some dream or ideal of what life should be or could be for them. Or they're gossiping about other people, but they're not following their own dreams. Whatever your purpose is, whatever your mission is, follow it with all your heart, with all your so-called grind time. Put the work in, put the energy in, put the effort in. The real magic comes from the heart. The real magic comes from the purpose. And in order to understand what your purpose is, I thoroughly believe that everyone already knows what their purpose is. There's a calling that you have. The difference between people who do and people who don't is those who actually answer their calling. It's like, are you going to pick up the phone, right? Are you going to take up the call? And are you going to, after you get the calling, are you going to do the work to realize it and make it manifest in your life? See, a lot of times in the spiritual communities, they teach us just think it, right? And it'll manifest. Just dream it. Just imagine it. Just put up a vision board and it'll manifest. But you have appendages called hands and feet, and you have a brain to think things out. And a lot of times we're so bombarded with social media, TV, Netflix, movies, other people's opinions, other people's ideas, celebrity influencers, online influencers, laughing and fuckery, that we don't have time to sit in silence and listen to our own voice, our own inner voice. That inner voice is the God in you. That voice that speaks without lips, that voice that's in your head. Find out if that voice is overpopulated with somebody else's opinions and somebody else's ideas. Find out if that voice in your head is your favorite influencer or some song you heard or someone else's opinion or idea about you. And it takes time for you to discover your own inner voice. It takes work, just like it takes work to know what your purpose is, just like it takes work to know and discover, and not only know and discover, but to attain whatever you are trying to achieve in this life. But it's not going to be easy. Nothing from even you being born on this planet, your mom had to push. There was a push involved. There was pain involved. If you're looking to have an easy and comfortable life, then you're going to stay in the comfort zone, and you'll have a lot of regrets when you turn 80 or 70 or 60 and you don't have the physical energy that you had to manifest the things that you want. And even if you're up in age, even if you're in a certain age bracket, you still, as long as you have breath, and even with the computers, you don't even need that much energy. You just need an idea, and you just need the willpower and desire and the courage, most importantly. Because a lot of people aren't courageous enough. They just want to stay in the crowd. They just want to fit in. They just want to be one of the girls or one of the guys. But it's up to you to carve out your own individual niche. The people that are the most interesting are the people that stand out, or the people that are different, or the people that do their own thing. Those are the people that we love the most. Those are the people that people look up to. Those are the people that people follow. Those are what we call the trendsetters. Those are what we call the disruptors. So you have to ask yourself, are you going to be a sheep? Or are you going to fall victim to all the conspiracies out there? Or are you going to continue talking about what they are doing to you, what they are doing to us, what they are creating, what ritual they're doing? Or are you going to do some of your own rituals? Are you going to do some of your own manifestation? Or are you going to put in some of your own work? The same way they're doing rituals, the internet is available. You have the ability to do your own rituals to counter their rituals. No one's more powerful. No one has more magic than you do. No one has more spirit than you have in this vessel, or you wouldn't be here. You would have never been born. You're on this planet to be a reflection of the God within you. whether you know it or not. And society's job, and those that we call the elite's job, is to take you away from that purpose as much as possible and to make you simply a follower, so that you never set your own trends, so that you always gossip about other people, so that you're always looking towards other people to follow, always looking to other people to lead. I mean, think about it like this, right? There's some people that have gone to the same church for 15 or 20 years, never elevated in the church, never became a pastor themselves, never became a priest themselves, never elevated above following Pastor Jenkins and Sister Johnson. And some people do that for even longer. They never follow their own path. They never tap into their own divinity. In fact, the rare times they do open the Bible is in church. Or when they do open the Bible, it's because something bad happened. Or it's to say someone is going to hell and use a Bible verse to let them know they're going to hell. If that is your path. I'm just using Christianity because it's the most popular thing out here. You have to come to the realization that only you can save you. You have to come to the realization that there is something here for you to do beyond simply work a job and make a whole lot of money. That there is a divine calling that you have to answer. And only you can answer that divine calling. And only you can know what that is. And only you can see it through. People could guide you. You could have mentorship. You could have people that give you advice and direction. But ultimately, you have to walk your yellow brick road, right? And you have to click your heels to get back home to the Kansas within you, right? But a lot of people are simply just looking to follow the next Wizard of Oz. And that will never get you to your home place, to your heart place. Never get you to the depths of your soul. Never gets you to realize the greatness of why you are here manifested on earth. You're a divine electromagnetic being with the power of God. Do you not know that ye are gods? That is in the scripture. Do you not know that ye are gods and sons of the Most High? So if ye are gods and sons of the Most High, then your job is to be as godlike as possible. People talk about, history and blackness and pro-blackness and these things like that. But the greatest part of melanated black history is the nobility, the greatness, the fairness, the justice, the creations, the technological innovation, the ability to be different and create pyramids and obelisks and the different ways of embalming and the different ways of mummification and the way that they use gold and the way that they use limestone. All these different innovations and creations, the difference between them and any other civilization at that time, talking about Kemet, aka Egypt. And when you talk about even the Western African societies with Mansa Musa and the Axum Kingdom, the way that they learn how to smelt gold, like gold has to be smelted at a certain period, at a certain point, right? It has to be burned at 1,060 degrees exactly for gold to be smelted and hardened the right way, or else you're going to destroy your gold. So this knowledge that they had didn't come from them having books. It didn't come from them having mentors. It didn't come from another scholar. It didn't come from someplace out in the universe. It didn't come from, well, people will say the aliens, but even if let's use that as an argument, right? Let's say the aliens taught them, right? If the aliens taught them and people from outer space taught them, they still had to do the work. But from my knowledge, from my understanding and my divination, it tells me that this was basically a communication between them, the individual, and the inner world, which is where your ancestors lie in your quote-unquote junk DNA. If you're not going to tap into your inner, if you're not going to take time in silence, meditation, taking walks with no music, no audio book, no distraction, no calling up the homeboy or the homegirl. Just you and your mind, and you clearing out the junk, you clearing out the toxic talk. It takes time. It takes work. It's not easy. There's so many people that are out here trying to find out what their purpose is, trying to ask people what their purpose is. No one can tell you what your purpose is. It's your purpose. It may model someone else's. It may look like someone else's, but it's yours. It's yours to go for. So when this Valentine's Day, I would encourage you not to be fearful of any alien invasions, not to be fearful of any ritual that they're doing, not to be fearful of these recent train collisions and how they're, disturbing the environment, the ecosystem. Earth can take care of itself. Earth is its own heart. Earth can take care of itself. It's not going to let any human or anything in humanity destroy it. It's been here before us, and it will continue as long as it wants to, as long as it's here to nurture more souls to come into the planet. But we have to come to the agreement that we will work alongside with nature, and those of us that know better have to do better. We can't be fearful and then still say that we are one with the divine. That's counterintuitive. Fear is counterintuitive to divinity. Fear is counterintuitive to you being rooted in your godhood and your God power. Fear, false expectations appearing real. If you have a false expectation of your own life, right, of things that's going to happen to you in the future, you're expecting the worst. That's the energy that you are letting off your aura, of your electromagnetic field. When you are fearful, you are lowering your IQ. The cortisol fills your body, and the blood leaves your brain, your pineal, your two hemispheres, right, and sends cortisol, which is literally a poison if it's used enough, into your body, making you sick. And you are losing IQ. You're losing the ability to think critically. And most people out here don't even know how to think. They don't know how to assess information, take the information, break it down, make sure it makes sense for them, and also verify the information for themselves. People are quick to react on emotion. That is animalistic behavior. When people talk about demons, that is the demon, not a demon outside of you, not someone cursing you or hexing you. The demon inside you. You have two different parts of you. You have a light side and a dark side. We all do. We all have a part of ourselves that could be very wicked, and we all have a part of ourselves that could be very godlike. It's up to you to choose what part of you choose to tap into. You could be a savage animal out here in a human body, or you could be a divine being in a human body. Everyone has a choice. But until you clear out the junk mail in your head, until you clear out the spam that's in your head, and the only way you could do that is by attaining a knowledge of self, assessing self. Why do I think like that? Why do I move like that? Why do I act this way? Why do I feel this way about men? Why do I feel this way about women? Why do I feel this way about children? Really taking the time to think. And you could only do that with silence. You could only do that with reflection. You could only do that in meditation. There's binaural beats. There's isochronic tones. There's nature walks, right? There's nature sounds. There's rain sounds. I mean, with the internet, you have it all. But it's up to you to use the tools that are given to you. It's like you want to mine gold, right? You want to mine gold, but you don't want to pick up the axe, or you don't want to pick up the drill. You don't want to do the work in order to mine the gold. You want somebody else to give you the gold. And if somebody gives you the gold, guess what? They're going to charge you, right? They're going to take up some of your energy. They're going to take some of your currency, right? Cash is called currency. They're going to take some of your currency to get the gold from them. But if you mine the gold for yourself, guess what? Now you could get the currency from other. You can get the energy from other things. Now you become the magnet that brings people in. You exercise, now you're exercising your electromagnetic field, aka your aura. But the more you continue to put yourself into the position of following others, the more you attach yourself to all these news stories and these trends, and these things make you scary. These things put you in fear. These things lower your vibration. The more you don't work with these energies. Again, I said this in my community post. During the Super Bowl, I was making music. When Rihanna was making music, I was making music. I'm going to use that energy against them. I have a Death Row t-shirt. This Death Row t-shirt is not necessarily about the Death Row recording company and Dr. Dre and Snoop and them and Suge Knight. What it represents to me is a dying of not only this old corrupt system, but a dying of any old corrupt systems in my mind, right? It's me Suge Knighting myself to create and innovate new things and any limitations that I have. We all right now are being called to upgrade. We all are being called to innovate. We all are being called to our God self. Everybody, even the so-called wicked people, right? We all being called to upgrade. But there's also a call on the other side that wants you to stay rooted in what you perceive. We see less than 0.035% of the visible light spectrum. That's less than 1% of the universe that we actually see. So we've seen with these two eyes a very limited perception of what the universe holds. Not to mention, people are talking about multiverses, but we haven't even traversed the universe yet. So I would urge you, even though today is Valentine's Day, you're with a loved one, you're going to make love. Make love with a purpose in mind. Have a purpose in your mind when you grinding and bumping and grinding. Energize your purpose. Energize your goals. Energize your divinity. Energize your understanding and your knowledge of self. Know thyself. Love thyself. Apply thyself. Learn thyself. Protect thyself. All that follows. All that is under the knowledge of self. Right? I'll say it again. Know thyself. Learn thyself. Love thyself. Apply thyself, and protect thyself. And by protecting thyself, that means you are able to set up boundaries, tell people no, and align with what you're supposed to align with. Sacrifice things that do not benefit you and are not taking you to a place of divinity, to a place of your holiest of holies, to a place of your mightiest of mightiness, to a place of your strength, to a place of your power. If you feel that you're watching things and engaging in things and they're making you fearful and they're making you feel limited, stop. Cut it off. Don't engage with it. And this is not to say you're not going to be, looking at what's going on in the world, but I do. But most of my time, right, and those of us that think along these wavelengths, right, the people that I look towards, right? The people that are my guides, the people that are my mentors, right? They all are on a similar current to where we feed ourselves things that are going to benefit us. We just had a Super Bowl, right? What is a bowl? A bowl is something that you eat out of, right? A bowl is something that you eat out of. You could also call a bowl a witch's cauldron. So being a bowl is something that you eat out of. You have to ask yourself, what have you been feeding yourself? Are you feeding yourself, oh, Rihanna's pregnant, and oh, look at the ritual that they're doing at the Super Bowl. Oh, look at how great her dance was, right? Oh, that's good. I'm not saying anything's wrong with understanding any of those things. But if that's what's taking up your mind this week, if that's what's dominated your mind, other than what your agenda is in life, other than what your focus is in life. You want to manifest all these magical things of psionic powers and communicating with aliens and psychic abilities and clairvoyance and clairaudience and clairsentience and being able to read and do divination, Ching, or, oracle cards or whatever your goal is, right? or you just want to be in tune with the best parts of yourself. You want to be more courageous, more brave, or you need to relax more. You need to have better interactions with people. You want to manifest friends, people that align with you, people that encourage you, people that think like you, people that give you constructive criticism, right? You have to be willing also on this path to take constructive criticism, because guess what? You're never going to grow if you stay the same, ever. Staying the same is your comfort zone. A tree never stops growing. A tree is always expanding, always branching out. There's always new leaves, always new growth, as long as it's getting the right amount of light and sun. Light is information, right? Light, sun, and water, right? Water is the stirring of the soul, the energy, the vibrations, right? So light is information. The universe is mental. Then you have the law of vibration, right? So vibration is that water element that is in you. And then you have polarity, yin and yang. There's going to be up days, there's going to be down days. And then there's the law of correspondence. What are you corresponding to? As above, so below. So you being as below, what is above you? What are you aiming for? What is your goal? Is your goal just to be a celebrity gossiper? Is your goal to just be involved in other people's business? Is your goal to inspire others to become better? Is the goal to become the best version of yourself? I don't know. Only you know. This is the practicality of doing magic. Again, you could get a book that gives you spell work. There's plenty of books out here, right? It gives you spell work, gives you tools to manifestation. I got a book, right? I put it in there, Occult Magic Mastery. You get an author copy from me, or you can get it online on Amazon, right? But what you will learn is that even doing spells is not enough. We watch enough movies to see people that were wicked and miserable doing spells. So to know magic is not even enough for you to reach the highest height and the highest vibration that you have. The goal of a magical, mystical, spiritual path is for you to become one with God. And for you to become one with God means that you are at peace with everything. You are not controlled by the positive, and you are not controlled by the negative. You are at peace with whatever happens. And that peace allows you to not be stressed and allows you to still engage in the intelligence. It causes you not to be at fear and for you to be able to think critically and problem solve. For you to be able to see things for what they are and also acquire the information from outside sources that still propel you to think in a way that will benefit you. But you're not going to get any of that just by following people, just by listening to people, just by filling your mind with other people's thoughts. Yes, it's important to gather information. Knowledge is key. You need knowledge, right? But you need wisdom, the ability to work through that knowledge to make sure it makes sense so you're not just blindly following, and an understanding, and to see how it matches your culture or your lifestyle. That's true freedom. True freedom is you're not too high, you're not too low. You're balanced, you're even keel. Even if you look at, if you're a person in the hospital, right? Or you look at what the EKG, right? And it's going up and down, right? When you're excited, it goes up. When you're stressed, it goes up, right? But when everything is cool, right? It's a steady vibration. It's a steady vibration. Now, life is going to have you at two different polarities at different times, right? That's the law of polarity. It's going to happen. You're going to go through different poles of positive and negative, light and dark, right? But the goal is always to continue to have tools that raise your frequency back to the state where you are at peace. You may not always be happy, right? You may not always be happy. The whole, what they sold us as far as life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, right? The American dream, right? You're never always going to be happy. So that's a misnomer. Somebody dies, you're not going to be happy. Your house burns down, you're not going to be happy. Your dog dies or whatever, you're not going to be happy, right? Something happens to one of your children, you're not going to be happy. but you can learn to be at peace with the cycles of life. And being at peace with the cycles of life will allow you to pay reverence to the things that you lost, to be grateful for what you continuously have, and to move forward in peace, power, and prosperity. But the only way you can attain that peace is if you know how to tap into that inner voice, how to affirm yourself, how to enlighten yourself, how to empower yourself. Not only being in silence, but also moving your body, getting off your ass, doing yoga, working out, taking walks, making the energy in you circulate, because this is an engagement of the heart. You're tapping into your heart, right? Your heart is the source of, if your heart stops, it's over. You could be brain dead and still be alive and still be called a vegetable, but if your heart stops, it's done. This whole experience is over. So the key is to tap into whatever your heart's purpose is and go hard at it, no matter what anybody says, no matter what anybody thinks, no matter what anybody's opinion is. That was the hardest thing for me to do, to not care what people thought about me because of the way I was raised and conditioned through childhood, through doing the shadow work, through going to meditation. Let me tell y'all this about a dream I had last night. And I'm going to get off this. I don't want to be too long. But the dream I had last night was, what was the dream I had? Oh, I was, basically I was at a restaurant, right? And I was, basically there was some people trying to intimidate me, right? And it was people that, let's say people that I had, a healthy fear of, right? Put it that way. Let's say they were gangsters, right? And these were people from my past visions, my past thoughts, my past ideas, right? So I'm eating, I have it was like a big spread of food or whatever. It looked like hibachi, right? So I'm there eating, sitting down, and these people just walk into the restaurant and they just start picking at my food, start taking my food. And at first, right, I'm not saying anything. I'm like, I don't want to get killed. I don't want to die. You know what I'm saying? I don't want nothing bad to happen to me. And I woke up shortly after, right, after this experience, because I didn't feel good in the dream. It was a very lucid dream. I didn't feel good. And I woke up, and at first I was like, fuck, why did I do that? Like, why did I let these dudes just take my food, right? Why did I let them just take my food? So what I did was, this is part of shadow work. I went to meditation, and I repurposed that whole scenario to where I was like, nah, y'all ain't taking my food. If I got to die behind this, I'm going to die behind my respect. I'm going to die behind what I feel is right. And what's right is not y'all niggas taking my food, no matter how gangster y'all think y'all are. If I got to die, I got to die. Right? And I repurposed that whole story in my dreams. Shortly after, later on today, I fell asleep and I was victorious. Right? It was a similar situation that happened in the next dream, and I was victorious to where I wasn't having it, right? And then at the end of the dream, right, I was rewarded with a beautiful woman, right? I was rewarded with a beautiful woman. It was kind of like a video game, Mario Saves the Princess type of story, right? The second dream. And I'm saying all this to say that even if you're having bad dreams, even if you're having bad visions about your life, even if you're having a bad time, right? Use the power of your imagination, your magic nation. Create the nation in your life, the nationhood that you want, the people that you want, the people that surround you. If you're isolated, start to create a tribe. Start to be better to people. Start to be encouraging. Start to be support systems. Stop talking down to people. Stop telling people what they can't do. Be supportive. Be encouraging. Be enlightening. Be a breath of fresh air in the world. And you can only do that if you love yourself. The only way you can love yourself is if you know yourself. The only way you can know and love yourself is if you learn yourself. The only way you can know, love, and learn yourself is if you apply yourself. The only way you can know, love, learn, and apply yourself is if you protect yourself from negative influences and things that are lowering your vibration, things that are lowering your mindset, things that are putting you in fear that you can't handle. Life is going to happen. Good and bad is going to happen. Negative is going to happen. There's no escaping it. It's what you're doing with your life, what energy you're carrying in your life, what energy you're putting forth. What are you eating out of your Super Bowl? What are you nurturing yourself from your Super Bowl? Not what Rihanna and them is doing. Not what they're giving birth to. What are you giving birth to from your Super Bowl? Like, share, subscribe. Peace, power, and prosperity. Rob Blackstone. One love. And happy V-Day.
People don't recognize how sacred sex is. When you have sexual intercourse with another person, there is an exchange that surpasses mental, emotional, and physical. Because when there is intercourse, there's also a soul tie. So this is why breaking up is so difficult, it's traumatic, it's emotional, because it wasn't just a friendship or a relationship or a sexual interaction. It was actually a soul tie. Have you ever seen a couple get together and everything was fine for one of them, and the minute they got together with the other person, every single thing started to go wrong in their life, in their career, in their health, in their relationships, in every way. Sometimes it's as simple as that particular interaction or those multiple interactions. So we have to take.
The most important decision you could ever make in your life after choosing to believe in God is to pick the right one to spend the rest of your life with. The mate you choose will either inspire you to grow into your greatness or confine you to complacency. They either be your other half or make you a half of yourself. The minister said, like, it's a good relationship will bring out the best in you and cause you to become more youthful, and a bad one will bring out the worst in you and age you prematurely. So